everybody, and good afternoon. I just wanted to take a minute to talk to you today about food that's from a culture that I really love. Of course, I love my own food from my own culture, but there are so many awesome, diverse cultures in the world and some really great food that can be tried out. But today I want to talk about Ethiopia, which is right here. You can see Africa on my little map. It's right here. It's close to the Horn of Africa. Somalia is right there at the Horn of Africa. Ethiopia. It's about a little over 4 years ago, I met this really awesome group of women who would come together like once a year, and they would prepare a meal for everyone in their community. Now that's a lot of work, because it was probably less than 10 women, and they're preparing a meal for over 200 people. They were rocking it. They spent all day, as far as I know. Might have took them a couple of days, I don't know. But they put their heart and soul into it, and they did a lot of work, and they brought all this food on these shopping carts and flatbeds and pallets, and they brought all this food to share with their community. And while people were lined up bringing their own plates, they say bring your own plates if you're able to. People were lined up to get that food. These women talked about their country. They said, we're from Ethiopia. This is how we dress. They had on their traditional clothes from Ethiopia. They talked about what they do in a given day. They had a slideshow presentation. It was awesome. Now Ethiopia, you know, is like Africa's second most populous area. There's a lot of people there. And, you know, I've seen the Indigo Traveler on YouTube. I've watched his videos about his travels to Ethiopia. You know, he seems very adventurous. I love watching his videos. Sometimes I just think he needs to be a little safer or have another person going with him, just as backup. But it was awesome seeing his video about his travels to Ethiopia. Who knows, maybe someday I might be able to get to go there. The cost for the travel from where I am to there is really not that bad. It's not very expensive as far as in American terms. But right now, you know, we've got the virus and all these different things going on, so it's not going to happen at this time. Anyway, they have, you know, different times of the year where the women come together and they prepare their food, or they prepare their food separately, as it is in this case because of the current pandemic we have going on. And they meet up and just bring their food together, and they distribute and share it, socially distancing, with their mask on. A lot of hand washing going on and everything. But they shared with me a plate so that I could bring it back and show to you, because I usually celebrate with them every year in their cultural things. Now this top layer has a thin, kind of spongy-like material on it. That is a bread called Injera. It's considered to be kind of sour, but I've had much more sour tasting bread before. It is very thin. It's fermented, and what they do is they tear off pieces of it, and they dip it in the other food that's there, and they eat. No forks, spoons, knives, none of that going on. They just eat to their heart's content. And let me show you what all I have on my plate. The bottom layer on the plate is more injera, torn into bits, put all around. Because if you go somewhere like to a global market or some kind of cultural market to buy the injera, they come really huge. Kind of like when I did the videos about a year ago in May or June it was, the tandoori bread pizza. They're huge like that. It comes huge. But it's a different texture. On the one side, it's smoother. The other side, you can see the fermentation that's happened. I guess it does have a little bit of a sour taste to it, but not in any negative type of way. But they put a variety of things on that bread. They have the bread, which they steam in their oven, and yes, I did wash my hands before I started. They have chicken. There's always a chicken leg in there. Sometimes you'll find a hard-boiled egg that's been tossed into the meat mixture. There's lamb or goat. There's beef. And they put their vegetables in there, like okra, their greens. Everything is all there. Now, some of the cultures in Africa, well, some of the cultures from Africa, when they're here in Minnesota where I live, at their restaurants, I've gone to eat with some of my African friends, and sometimes you can order one gigantic plate, and it'll have everything. Lamb and chicken and beef and everything going around the edge. You've got your bread underneath there. Got some olives. You may have some other things as well. And everyone, wherever they're sitting, they're just picking up, tearing off a piece, just tear off as much as you need. And they're picking up and they're eating. And meals are very social. It's a time for people to get together, have a good time. Unfortunately, we can't do that this time, but hopefully in the future, we'll be able to do that on one of my programs. But here they've got ground beef and the chicken and the regular beef and, everything. A little bit everything. And it's usually so much like this is, you can't really eat it all in one sitting. It might be lunch today, and dinner today, and lunch tomorrow. But really, it's a lot of food. And they tend to keep saying, eat, eat, eat. They want you to keep eating and keep eating. They're very encouraging about wanting people to eat. They want to make sure that people have what they need, that they're taken care of. It's a very loving, welcoming community, and they do highly encourage you several times to eat. And they will give you water, usually either bottled water, bubbly water, plain water, whatever. But their meals are pretty fantastic. And it's a great way for a community to get together over food and laugh and talk. But like I said, this year, with the way things are going, it's made it difficult for that to happen. But they still each prepared their food because it's the holiday. It's their holiday. And they had a meeting point, come together, here, 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 here. And everyone giving, something. And then they socially distance and talk for a little bit, and then they dispersed. And isn't that a nice way for communities to be? Regardless of what type of food you like to eat or what part of the world you come from, it's nice that people can come together and share a meal. Or that people would take time to prepare a meal for so many people, including people that they may not spend their everyday with, but it's like they're just wanting the opportunity to show some compassion and say hello. You don't have to be the same as everyone or look the same or live in the same area or like the same kind of music to be nice to people and to be able to get along. And the women from Ethiopia, probably the men too, but I don't know any men from Ethiopia, but the women go out of their way to do a bang-up job on a meal like this. Well, I just wanted to share that with you for a minute. I'm probably going to end up eating this real soon. If I had a microwave, I probably would be putting it in the microwave with just a little sprinkle of water on top of it, since, you know, the Injera is starting to get a little bit dry. But since I don't use a microwave, as you know, I can put it in the oven and I'll just do a little sprinkle of water over the top of that and it'll be just fine. Just want to keep the Injera soft, you know. I like to have it soft and that nice consistency. But in the future, if you're interested, I would love to show you how to do a simple version of this. So if that's something you're interested in, please give me a thumbs up and put a note in the comment section, because I'm very serious. This is delicious. And yes, there are spices in it, but these are not like hot spices. These are just, not even for my taste. It's not hot spices. It's just a melody of flavors for the mouth. And there are some things that if you like things more bland or less spicy or seasoned, there's ways that we can alter those recipes too. So, give me a message down in the comment section if you're interested in learning how to prepare a meal like this. We'll make it as easy as possible. I can guarantee it's going to be delicious. But there may be portions of it that you do in sections, because this is not exactly one of the quick things, you know, to do. But it's very well worth it. And if you have a crock pot or an oven, we can work around all the other stuff. But I'm going to enjoy this, and I look forward to talking to you again soon, because we need to talk about cucumber cages. So I hope to see you in an upcoming episode again. You have a great evening.